Welcome to the Hero Escape Podcast, your weekly escape from your government betraying you, disavowing you, casting you aside. How long before a man like that has had enough? I am one of your three co-hosts, Ethan Perma-Disavowed Hunt, and I am joined by...
Howdy, folks. This is Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm a little irritated at a certain individual in a recently released movie introducing himself as a Walker over and over again. So, just so you know, I am the Walker, Texas Ranger.
Wait, sorry, what was your name again?
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, thanks for clarifying that. I appreciate that.
Hey, folks, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Are you recreating the airport scene? Is that what's happening here? This is Agent Walker. Hey, I'm Walker. I don't like you guys.
At least he didn't use the Texas Ranger. I would have been T.O''d.
Well, we are back again this week. However, we are one man down. Our third guy, Mr. Dave, the Star Wars, the Luke fanboy, the guy that brings the energy to the room, is out on vacation, but we still wanted to get you guys an episode, so we will look forward to having him back next week. And we hope he's having a wonderful time.
We didn't want both of our listeners to have to go a week without an episode.
That's right. We care about each of them equally.
Yeah, exactly.
So we both got out and saw Mission Impossible Fallout this past week.
So I'm just gonna jump right into it.
You jump right in. Go ahead.
I really
don't forget your oxygen when you jump right in.
Okay. yeah. Hey, I lost it actually, but you'll notice you have a second one.
Oh, hey, I should be a total butthead about this.
Yeah. I really liked it, like a lot.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I was thinking to myself today, you know, and maybe we don't want to do this right now, but I was thinking to myself, do I give this? How we rate movies, right? We do the 1 through 10. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, my starting place here is a 9. Can I go to a 10?
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
All right. So before you give us your score on this one, though,
I'll hold.
I'm surprised by your thing. Like, would you? Where are you at with the previous ones? Like, say from number 3 where it got good, 4, 5. And now this one. Are those also up in that range for you?
3 is really, really good to me. Yeah, I need to probably rewatch 3. I did rewatch Ghost Protocol and Pumpkin Spice.
Yeah, I can never remember
Nation.
Rogue Nation, yeah.
Everything is Pumpkin Spice. I got to stop that. And those are both really good. Rogue Nation, I think I liked Rogue Nation maybe a little better than Ghost Protocol. I'm trying to think. I watched them both like in consecutive nights, so now they're crossing up. I think I like 3 better. So 3 to me was kind of almost the standard. Like if you're better than 3, you're amazing.
Yeah. That's where J.J. Abrams came in and elevated the entire franchise.
And this movie is definitely not worse than 3. It's at least as good as 3, maybe better. And I will say it might be better because even though I really liked 3, this one. So when I watch a movie with my wife that's like high action, high, like, you know, stuff like that, she gets very like she'll start pulling in her legs and moving because she's getting stressed and she can't sit still, right? And I'm like, what do you do? Relax. You know, I'm like, the good guy's going to win, right? The only movie I've seen where the good guy doesn't win in a long time is
Infinity War,
which is
snap,
digitally released yesterday. So,
yeah.
But Blu-ray and DVD are out in 2 weeks, so. But anyway, she gets that way, and I mock her for it and her inability to.
It doesn't enhance your own level of tension and viewing experience?
I'm just watching the movie, and I sort of make fun of her for how stressed she gets. I'm like, the good guy's gonna win. What are you so worried about? Like that. But then I found myself doing that in this movie. I'm like, come on, like that. And then the scene when he's like under the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying to kick up to get to the other skid, you know, to catch himself. And then he falls, right? And then I'm like, even though I saw it in the trailer, I'm like, I'm so tense about it. And then when he gets up again, and I kid you not, as he's kicking his legs, I kick my leg. Like,
I was going to say.
To help him, right? I gotta help. I kick my leg. I go. And then I realize, there's people around me.
And then afterwards you were like, we did it.
Yeah, exactly. We're a team.
Yeah, it has some moments where you definitely midway through the tension has built to a point that you're unaware of, and then you become aware of it, and you're like, oh man, I need to relax. Like,
it doesn't give you a lot of moments, which I like this in the movie. It doesn't give you a lot of like slow moments where you're like, okay, let's get past this, right? It doesn't give you, but it doesn't give you also moments maybe to kind of take that breath so much. I mean, it gives you a couple brief ones, but then it's right back in. It's right back into the action, and not even just action, but like the very tense situations where you're like, oh my gosh, how do you handle this like that? Like some of that's probably gonna be lost on a rewatch when you already know how it's handled. But like there's the scene when they're gonna drive their little old BMW through Paris. I think they're in Paris. And get away, right? And they think they're going to be all incognito in their different car that they've switched to, and they've gone through tunnels and boats and all these different things, and they've got this. And when they open the door, there's a lady police officer standing right there.
Oh, bonjour.
The worst of all luck, and she, and she can tell, like one of them's in handcuffs, and she can tell something's not right.
He's got a bag over his head.
Yeah, he's got the bag over his head.
Link.
Something's not right, and they know already. They're on the lookout. I mean, there's all these police cars. So anyway, they're busted, and he's like, "How do I do this?" And he's just telling her, please walk away. Please don't make me do this. Please walk away.
She's reaching for her gun.
She's reaching for her gun, and she's, but then 4 real bad guys show up, right? The guys that wanted Solomon Lane out. The real bad guys, the terrorists. And they shoot her, not fatally, but shoot her, right? And I'm thinking, how does he handle this? Does he, or I'm thinking, how's he handles it? And then when they shoot her, I think pretty quick. It was still very tense for maybe like 10 to 5 seconds, and then he just pulls out his gun and shoots them all very quickly.
Yes.
And then he just tells the girl, call it in, and then they just leave.
But there is a moment there, legit, where you don't know which way they're going to go in the movie if they're actually going to kill that cop lady. Which should be inconsequential, but in that moment, you're like, no. Because
one of the characters, I don't know how much we should spoil, right? But one of the characters with them is not a nice man, and he will kill the cop.
It's Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Jack Donaghy is what I like to call him. How great would that have been if they'd given him a line just to yell for lemon or something like that? Yeah. Lemon. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. So there's a minute there where you're like, I don't know how they're gonna get. Are they gonna beat her up? Are they gonna tie her up? Are they gonna shoot her? Are they gonna just try to outrun a bunch more cops again as she calls them in? I don't know what. And then, anyway, there's this. The movie's rife with situations like that.
Yeah, it has if you're not familiar with the plot, the whole thing is kind of moving on this engine of these 3 canisters of plutonium have been taken by the bad guys, basically the syndicate. Yeah. Right.
Well, they're the apostles now, right? The syndicate.
Yeah, technically, we can get into gripes in a few minutes.
Yeah, we're getting the gripes there, but
that's the whole engine of this movie. Is the entire time they are trying to track these down, and that's why you get this sense of there's not any lulls or anything. It has a constant motion throughout the whole thing, which really works well. And I would agree with you that the tension building and execution is pretty good. However, what were you going to say?
I was going to say it has this. Our compatriot, our missing compatriot, David, always talks about The Dark Knight. How that's one of his favorite. He'll always say like, that movie's so great, like that's like almost the standard kind of thing, and he's like it's like I am exhausted by the end of that movie, and that's how I sort of felt like in this movie. I felt like, and I don't know if this maybe I'd have to watch it again to see if it says too long of a running time maybe, but at one point I was thinking like I am getting tired and I need this movie to end like that.
All this leg kicking is wearing me out.
Yeah. It could have been because I saw it very late. I went out very late and saw it, but yeah. But okay, you had a grievance.
A little bit. Well, 1 or 2. Here's the thing, right? This movie is a little bit of a departure from the ones before it because it's more sequelish. I don't know if you would agree, but it is a natural flow out of the last one.
Yeah.
In that we're picking right up again with the character Solomon Lane, who they defeated at the end of the last one, and it's still the syndicate, technically speaking. But I've gotten so used in watching these movies to this pattern that they have, which is the movie opens and you are right in the middle of some mission. You don't know what it is. You don't know why they're there or what they're doing, but you're just into it because they suck you right in the middle. And it takes you right up to some kind of crazy climactic end, like in a previous movie. That's where Ethan comes running out of nowhere, tries to get on the plane. He ends up hanging on the side of the plane while it flies into the air. You know what I mean? That's your introduction to the movie. And then they inevitably have some kind of fallout or dip down from that, where it calms down for a minute. Then he gets his mission. Then you go to your sequence, your title sequence, and then you go into the movie. And this one starts with an impossible scene that you almost immediately know has got to be a dream. It's Ethan and his wife, and they're getting married.
His ex-wife.
Ex-wife, technically.
I don't remember the character's name, but
I still think of them as together.
Well, I used to think of that too until this movie, honestly, and I realized that. Should we drop that spoiler in case you don't want to hear this?
Divorce spoiler.
They are divorced because you meet her new hubby at the end of the movie.
Simon Pegg. No.
Yeah. He's been that was the big reveal, the big secret. Like, dun, dun, dun. I am her new husband.
The opening scene is them getting married, and they're outside, and I think there's mountain ranges in the background, and like a very nice scene, like whatever. And you can tell even before they cut the camera around, but you're looking at the back of Solomon Lane, who is basically the minister performing the ceremony, and he's saying the vows that they are supposed to repeat, and then he starts getting darker and darker and darker with the vows, and Ethan kind of looks at him like, what? And then a nuclear explosion happens, and the blast hits him, and he wakes up suddenly in a room. And I'm all about doing exploratory whatever with your creative enterprises, and as long as you're not Rian Johnson, you do what you want. But it just was odd to me sitting in there in the theater. I was like, oh man, we're already off on a different foot. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, they didn't give you the fun cold open. They kind of got right into it. And I felt like this movie did have a more serious tone than a lot less fun action movie.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I will say to me, maybe this is just specific to me, but and if anybody else agrees with me or disagrees, let us know. I felt like that opening scene, the dream, just the visual of the bomb going off and kind of how they blow away. My first thought was a little bit of Infinity War envy.
Just because they needed major destruction? They needed to have some kind of...
Yeah, and even just the visual of like the shock of your main characters getting blown to dust. Because they kind of go that way. They kind of get blown to dust. And
it's all the rage right now.
Visual. It's all the rage, yeah. Getting yourself blown into pieces or whatever.
Yeah, as great as this movie is, it's no Infinity War.
Yeah, it's no. It's still to me a super good movie. Okay, I highly recommend it.
So that was what? That was 10 minutes it took us to get to an Infinity War reference in the podcast. I think that's a new record for us. We're doing good. It's always
held out 10 minutes.
Mission Impossible, Infinity War.
You didn't like the device that gives them mission. You didn't like that guy's voice, and I will say. It seems like the level was very high in the voice. And I don't know if it's because you're supposed to recognize the guy's voice or just maybe they were just like, look, we don't want anybody to miss the details of all this mission, so just make it loud.
I did not recognize the guy's voice. If that was someone famous, my apologies.
If it's somebody's famous, then he wasted his time. Because
you need to get more famous, so I'll recognize your voice. In past movies, the guy giving the mission, the voice, has always been someone who is... going to be in the movie later. They're an integral character. You recognize it almost right away. I'm pretty sure that Anthony Hopkins did one in number 2 that the guy who was the head of the agency in the very first movie gives the mission on the plane to what's his name there. So it just sort of...
I felt like a couple times too in other movies when it was like a device like that explodes, it was a very nondescript voice that you kind of just you'd listen to a couple. I mean, either it was someone very recognizable or it was very just background. Like you pay attention to it. If you don't pay attention to it, it doesn't matter because you're still going to watch the scenes. But in this time, I felt like it was very like stop everything and listen to this guy talk for a minute.
You think like part of that? I should correct myself too. By the way, in the first movie, it was not on the plane. When he's on the plane and he lights the cigarette to cover the smoke, that was a woman's voice. I'm pretty sure. It's later on when he gives Ethan Hunt the mission. It's that guy's voice, his commanding officer. Anyway, I wondered if they put so much focus on it because this mission also felt like it had a lot of detail. There was a lot more explaining going on. A lot of explaining. You know, like, audience, I mean Ethan Hunt, in case you have forgotten the last movie. Yeah. You know, like, we had these guys. There was Solomon Lane, and remember, he was part of this group called the Syndicate, but we can't reuse that name again. So this time, we're going to take a small group of them, and we're going to call them the Apostles, so that you have an iconic name to anchor onto. Mm-hmm. Also, here's the complex blah, 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 and he brings you all the way up to this whole thing with the plutonium. But I do remember sitting in the middle of it thinking, like, is he like over-explaining, or they need to pare this down a little bit somehow, but... It's a minor gripe, right? It's an excellent movie, but these were my gripes. Was the kind of shift in the way they handled the intro, and then that guy's voice kind of threw me off a little bit.
I really didn't have a problem with that. Probably the only thing that I really had any sort of problem with, and I'm willing to even suspend my requirement of common sense, I guess, so just a little bit. Is when they go after the plutonium, and they get it, but then Luther, Ving Rhames' character, gets sort of captured, and they throw the plutonium crate kind of towards their getaway car, and then they turn around and I guess they know Ving Rhames is wearing a bulletproof vest, so they shoot him in the chest twice to kind of knock him down, and then he shoots the bad guys, and they shoot out with the bad guys until they're okay. But then he runs over and checks on Ving Rhames, and he stays there for like a while. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, the most important thing right now is that plutonium that you just got. Why not you or the other guy go back and check on it? I mean, here's what you do. You yell to Ving Rhames, "Are you okay? Because I don't want to leave this stuff alone. You know what I do? I'm going to grab it and come over to you. Because hate for it to be out of my sight for a minute. Because then this would have been a waste."
Yeah.
And then, of course, what happens? They go back to it. It's gone.
The entire rest of this movie is based on the principle of putting trackers on things so you don't lose them. Nobody put a tracker on the plutonium case.
Look, we could have been done with the movie in 20 minutes if he just would have picked it up and carried it with him, right?
We got the plutonium, guys. High five. Hey, I'm Walker. Bye. Not needed.
Who? We're done. Like that.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Oh,
hey guys, we finished this movie mission in record time.
So obviously, as we've mentioned in previous podcasts, the mustache was a key part of this whole thing. Yeah. It was in his contract. You absolutely cannot shave it for any reason. Do you think that it really just comes down to the fact that Henry Cavill, minus any facial hair, is unavoidably Clark Kent / Superman? And they needed to visually differentiate him if he's going to be a villain?
I don't think it has to do with the Clark Kent Superman, but I do think it made him look a little more sinister to have because he does have kind of the good guy face, right?
Yeah, he does.
Now, maybe he's a terrible person on his own. I don't know. Maybe
I like
he
to
is.
think he's black on the inside.
Yeah.
Just maybe evil to the core.
Maybe he slaps kids and stuff. I don't know. But he does have kind of this... a charismatic look, very charming looking young man. So, with the facial hair, it helped him look more sinister, I will say.
Yes.
I do think if you'd shaved it off, you would have kind of been like, this guy's not a bad guy. Are you kidding me? Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it worked really well. Which is the kind of the next scene in the movie, right? They lose the plutonium and then they go to the airport and they got this big plan to go and, disrupt this arms deal and get it back. And then he shows up, and this is obviously the point that we were making fun of earlier. It's the repeated number of times that he makes sure that his name is known, and that his CIA boss makes sure that we know who he is. This is Walker, this is Walker, this is Walker. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, it just sort of occurred to me, so you see the whole scene where he's basically forced to go on the mission with Ethan Hunt, and they do the skydive, and then, he makes some snarky comment about, what are you worried about? A little thunder?
He's going to call
lightning?
off the dive because they're over a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And then he just goes, what are you afraid of a little thunder? But I think he realizes the guy did something wrong. Either he knew something or anyway, maybe he just went after him. Of course, it's like as soon as those words are out of his mouth and he's on the airplane, he gets hit with or a close strike with lightning and he's passed out, right? No.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I just was thinking to myself when I see this scene, there's this incredibly dramatic thing where, Ethan Hunt takes off his oxygen thing, puts it on him in midair, pulls his chute and saves him. And then they land and then they're breaking into this club. And I was just thinking he is holding his own on screen here with Tom Cruise. This
Yeah.
veteran of the industry for multiple decades and the anchor of this franchise that he's in.
Yeah.
And on screen and just in terms of his character and, like you said, the charisma and the ambiance, whatever you want to say, absolutely. I don't know if you could say stole the show, but 100% held his own.
I will say they get good actors for the movies, right? Even Ilsa, I mean, other than Frozen, I never seen her before. And
I think you might have that. No, you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
that's right. She was the Frozen girl, and now she's a secret agent. And I never seen her in anything else before, I don't think. I mean, maybe she is famous. I've never seen her, but she does a fantastic job versus Tom Cruise, right? Being female super spy. Mm-hmm. And then, Henry Cavill, who's, I don't even know that he's done that many big movies, right? But he's fantastic in it. He's amazing. I mean, I will say this. Tom Cruise is amazing in the movie, and he's a star, definitely. But my initial interest in the movie was because of Henry Cavill.
Yeah. The funny thing is, in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., he is very clean cut.
Yeah.
And his whole execution there. So it is a departure. And I have to feel like this was a dream job for him because he's moving down the rails in this direction of typecast as, lovable hunk good guy / Superman all the time. And somebody says, hey, not only do you get to play a villain, but you get to play a villain in a major franchise that is at its peak, arguably. Yeah. I mean, how do you turn that? You can't turn that down.
No. In a way, I things in the previews, the trailers made me think he might be the bad guy. In a way, I will say, I wonder if anybody else is in this with me. I sort of hoped he wouldn't be the bad guy because I wouldn't have minded a handoff from Tom Cruise to Henry Cavill. Like Henry Cavill become the new. That
would have been an interesting thing because they made him very abrasive, even if he wouldn't have ended up being the bad guy. But I kind of was, I was 50-50 for a little while that it might be the lady who was the head of the CIA. Yeah. But that would have parroted a little too closely to the movie before where it turned out to be the British senior intelligence guy. So maybe that's,
I just thought Tom Cruise is not, I don't know how long he can keep doing his running movies for, but I just thought a handoff to Henry Cavill would be awesome, right? That would be, would be.
Did you wonder to yourself, how many takes did they do of this scene of him running across the roof of this building? Like, how exhausted was he by the end of this day? We're going to need to get that again. This is 17 times. What's wrong with you guys?
We haven't talked about is the bathroom fight scene.
Yes.
So that did not go at all what I thought. I thought it would be, I sort of thought it might be, Ethan Hunt versus Walker.
Yeah. What was his name again?
No, I can't remember.
I didn't catch it.
Mitchell, I think. I thought there was a completely different dynamic to the fight, but they were going up against the guy they were going after. He caught on to that they were going after him, and he was a Asian guy, and like all Asian people, he knows martial arts. So
very well.
That guy holds. It's a good fight scene. That guy holds his own.
Oh yeah.
Like if somebody hadn't intervened, I think that dude might have taken out both of them. Which I will say this: he wasn't like a little guy or anything like that, but he was. I feel like there's a quick part of the fight where Henry Cavill delivers like 5 or 6 solid punches to the head and gut. I'm like, unless your body is just, unless you're wearing stuff like an absorber or you're just amazing, you're not feeling good after those punches. Someone the size
game over,
and strength of Henry Cavill, I'm like, you don't get back up then and start doing more kicks and punches, right? You're like, I am down. I am down. I give
up. You guys can have the plutonium.
Because you have to feel like, it's not like he's just a big strong guy. He's a trained assassin fighter. He probably knows his own fighting styles that he's been trained in.
Yeah, mustache foo.
Yeah, mustache foo. Yeah, I believe some of the I don't know what they call. I don't know if there's agencies, but I know they do some training in like close quarters combat, and they I have to feel like those hits, this fight's over. but I'm sort of glad it wasn't because it was a good fight scene.
I'm sure that I would go down for the count if normal everyday actor Henry Cavill punched me that hard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly.
no joke.
Exactly.
But the way they portray it in the trailer,
could you take a punch from Tom Cruise?
Oh yeah, easily.
Oh yeah, that's what I thought. You just put the hand on the forehead, right?
That's right. Swing.
I'm sorry. Can I tell you this? So I played a game recently, like a charade style game with some folks recently. And two of my categories were, I don't know, some Tom Cruise fan at the get together there, because I had Jack Reacher and Tom Cruise. For both of them, I just squatted down real low and did running motions with my, like, the knife hands, like the vertical, like that for both of them.
Instant guess.
They got them both very quickly.
Yeah. It's iconic. What can I say? They do. All I was going to say is they make it look in the trailer like it is either a fight between those two or that they're pounding the tar out of this guy. And when you watch the movie, you're like, those two guys, Ethan Hunt and Walker, were lucky to get out of that bathroom alive. Like, that guy was solid. And the whole premise of the bathroom fight is we got to keep this guy knocked out, because whenever he wakes up, it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
So, and then Ilsa kills him.
Yeah.
With a snowman.
Yeah, it's tough. With the icicle, what was it? Or the snowman? No, just have Olaf do it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Another little fun tidbit that I enjoyed in this movie that I was surprised you didn't pick up on. But in the very first movie, Ethan Hunt, for those who may remember, who rewatched it like many of us did leading into this movie, he has to go meet this arms dealer named Max. And when you're watching that first movie for the first time, they use the name Max intentionally to make you think of some big, scary, like, guy, you know, like he's going to meet. They put this mask on him that has the eye holes in the mouth stitched shut, and he gets driven there. And then they pull the mask off, and it's this very delicate old woman who's very well dressed, you know, and very pretty for age, et cetera, et cetera. Hello, I'm Max. And then in this movie, he's going to this arms deal, and he goes in, and this girl is giving a speech, who is the White Widow, who's the arms dealer in this one, and she's talking about her mother, who handed the business down to her mother, Max. And I was like, oh, look at that. And then the icing on the cake was the actress they got to play her daughter in this movie is like the spitting image to me. When I saw her, like her eyes and everything were set, and they're not even related in real life. We looked it up on IMDb, but I just thought it was great casting. It was a cool nod to the previous films.
Yeah, that's excellent.
That they had that in there. So, and she also, by the way, was pretty awesome. They had that whole fight scene where he's protecting her, and you think, oh man, they almost got her. Oh man, they almost got her. And then out of nowhere, she pulls out this knife, stabs this guy, and then he looks at her like, what? And she looks back at him like, hey, arms dealer. You know what I mean? Which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. She did a good job too. But there was a kind of a funny part when they're all meeting together and planning this freeing of Solomon Lane, and they're all sort of convincing each other that they're all terrible, awful people.
Yeah.
It's listing thing. And then she kind of abruptly ends it with okay, well, everybody, I'm going to go to bed, sleep well, or something like that. After they've listed off these awful atrocities they've committed or something. Like, sleep well.
Yep. No, she played it very well. And I think we can all agree that another great moment in this movie is when they have broken Solomon Lane out, but then they've captured him. So this is Ethan Hunt, Simon Pegg's character, Benji, Luther, all that crew. Sort of betrays a little bit the arms dealer lady. They get Solomon Lane, they've got him tied up in a chair, and then they're going to take him to do this exchange, but they decide that they're going to take Benji instead. So they put Benji in a chair back to back, right? Mm-hmm. Then they put this Solomon Lane mask on him. The
plan that they announced to everybody is to make Benji look like Solomon Lane and then take him up to fake the exchange, right?
Yeah.
They announced that aloud to everybody.
Yeah. And then
that's what they go to do.
There's no moment in there where you stop and think, why did they put him in a chair back to back with him to put the mask and the outfit on? Like, he could have done this in a different room. You don't even think about it.
Well, I can see, because they went into the room to scan his face, right? To put it in the computer. They had all that in the room. And I could say, okay, well, they're just doing it right there to make sure that everything looks right. And they have the real life, like that. That was kind of my thoughts. But then...
And then there's this amazing surprise twist.
As soon as they all leave, they tell what's his name again? And I forget. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't recall.
Wilson. I think it was Wilson.
Yes. Yeah, that's it.
They tell Wilson to stay behind and watch Solomon Lane. And then he immediately reveals himself to be the bad guy. And
there's a little bit of heavy-handed. I think it was handled pretty well.
Yeah.
But by the end, when the reveal happens,
I love he makes the comment that like he's sort of bad mouthing the IMF team, like, oh, they're just Halloween, all they do, all they're just guys in rubber masks, and he's like, hold on, They have a rubber mask and then he pulls the mask off and it's Benji. And that was.
He does this awesome face as Solomon Lane too, like right when he says that, and he realizes that Watson has remembered. It's just kind of like, like what do you know?
Yeah, but that was great because I did not see that coming at all. Right?
Oh yeah, no,
I did not see that. Maybe there's clever people than me that probably did, but I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah, so that was a great twist, and then that's basically the big reveal when you find out, okay, he definitely is a bad guy, and the CIA lady is on a speakerphone, so she hears the whole thing. She knows he's betrayed them and all that sort of thing. There's a little moment that happens in there where the CIA shows up, the lights go out, there's a fight going on, and Jack Donaghy gets his little time in the sun throwing some punches up against Mustache Cavill.
Yeah, fisticuffs with Mustache. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was kind of cool to see him get this movie. It almost feels like an end to the series because it felt like, hey, if we can make some callbacks to original movies, let's do it. If we can give some homages, let's get everybody involved in the action. Let's just. I mean, if this is the end, it will be an end that is great.
I hope it's not, though.
I hope it's not, but and I will say I don't know if you want to continue on more. I'm going to kind of break for a minute to. Just the acting is fantastic. I really like the new girl, Ilsa. I liked her a lot. I didn't love her in Rogue Nation, but I like her a lot in this one. I guess her now knowing that she's like a staple of the group now, maybe, or something made me like her more.
Well, it's the Marvel model, right?
Yeah.
You are more invested. You've spent more time. Therefore, everything has more consequence in this movie now. Mm-hmm. You know their history the same way the characters.
And are you paying attention, Star Wars? Because the team likes her.
Ryan Johnson.
Because the team likes her, I like her.
Turn the volume up.
Right.
Put your earbuds in.
She bonded with Ving Rhames and Benji. She's had experiences with all of them, and they approve of her. And now it helps me to like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike a certain Star Wars young lady that
we're bonding over our common concern for these poor mistreated animals on the casino planet.
Anyway, I don't deviate too much, but I really like the so I like, and it almost seems like, in the last movie you kind of wonder why don't they seem like they're so compatible? Why don't Tom Cruise and this girl, why isn't there at least a kiss in there somewhere, right? But I sort of like that there isn't. That they're just like, hey, we are both good at what we do, and we are focused on the job. It's kind of awesome, right? That they
keep it professional.
But you can tell there's some chemistry by this movie for sure. But he is still concerned about, and I think even loves his ex-wife.
Yeah, and guilt. He's carrying a lot of guilt.
There's a lot of guilt there too. And this movie so excellently to me, emotionally. I think there's stuff in there for the ladies too, right? That want the love story because. It so awesomely to me helps.
It's closure.
Yeah, close that out. Some catharsis for him.
Yeah,
and then you kind of get the sense that maybe he can let go of that and move on. Maybe if he's interested in this new girl,
he can maybe what?
Move on.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
He can let it go with Ilsa. And
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that was awesome. I feel embarrassed. I didn't pick up on it. Even I brought it up. I am ashamed. But that he can maybe start a relationship with this new girl that he seems maybe more compatible with, that she can take care of herself. And the scene when she is talking, and I like how they spelled it out, that in the scene with Ving Rhames when Tom Cruise isn't there for a minute, he's like it's kind of like they all look at each other and they kind of split so that Ving Rhames can tell her look, Ethan cares about his ex-wife. I mean, he tells a story about, she lets him know occasionally she's okay. This happened because he's like, they were in the situation because someone got me and he wouldn't let me be killed. He's like, and you can tell that Ving Rhames is on the verge of crying kind of thing. He was the
only one.
Yeah, I'm in the theater almost at the point, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the line he's out? I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's that to me, I don't know if there's that many great actors in the world. Maybe there are. I a lot of times feel like I have to give this credit to directors because I've seen good actors give crappy performances.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you know who directed this movie?
I don't off the top.
But I give that credit to the actors too, but the director, the team that shot that scene, because it goes from action to very quickly a very emotional, a very great scene where they explain like Ethan Hunt cares about these people. He lets them into his heart and he cares about them. And I think they said at one point to the girl, he's like, he cares about you too. And you're too much. That's too many people for him to care about.
Christopher McQuarrie directed this, who also did The Mummy, Edge of Tomorrow, okay. Tom Cruise, all these Tom Cruise movies.
Oh, wow.
And he wrote, back in the day, the very famous The Usual Suspects. For those of you who are fans of
that guy has some good credentials under his belt. I don't know if anybody saw that Tom Cruise movie, The Mummy. It didn't get a bunch of credit, but it was a good movie. And I went into it thinking this will be dumb like that. And I enjoyed it. But, yeah, I really like that scene where he's telling her, like, hey, you should probably just not go because he cares about you now. And that's too many people for him to care about. He can't split his attentions this widely and
the cast is getting too large.
Yeah. And
we need Thanos.
Yeah.
Pare it down.
But I really like that. That to me, that scene's awesome. I mean, it's kind of a small scene, but it sticks in my head because I really liked because the emotion of it kind of sticks in.
I feel like that is the emotional payoff of the seed that they planted in number 3 when they introduced this whole idea of him having a wife, this whole idea of him getting tied down like that. Which again, J.J. Abrams, man, well done. I still don't have any hope for you with episode 9, but well done in this case.
Yeah. He is good at setting up something for a payoff later on. Yeah. Unless you happen to bring in someone who's
brain dead
is able to ruin that in between your movies, and then it's hard to get that payoff.
It's like a piñata you just can't stop hitting, you know?
So, let me say this. Kudos to the people that directed Protocol and Ghost Protocol and Rogue Nation for not saying, we're going to ruin anything that you set up in Mission Impossible.
Fun little tidbit. Rogue Nation, Christopher McQuarrie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It makes sense, I guess, that it picks up. Anyway, well.
So there's a lot. It says a lot that in a spy movie like this, you can have a moment like that where the audience legitimately feels the emotion of the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, I think everyone's waiting with bated breath to hear what your score is going to be.
This is hard. I almost feel like I can't rate it yet because I need, for me to give a movie a 10, it has to be as good as it can be.
Yeah. I almost feel like I kind of want to watch it again in a way to sort of let it settle, or like I watched the trailer again since I've seen the movie and I'm kind of like taken back in. I feel like I can wrap my head around it more.
Let me say this. I don't really like doing decimals, so I'm going to give it a 9. If I watch this movie again and I like it just as much and I can't think and this is one I'm willing to say I want to watch this movie. I will watch this movie again throughout my life. It's that good. Then I will bump it to a 10. If it's a thing like Dark Knight is never going to be a movie I don't want to. I'm always going to be able to sometimes say I want to watch The Dark Knight again, in a couple months or something like that.
Yeah.
And if this movie I feel like is out, then I will probably give it a 10. Because off the top of my head, I can't think of anything in it that there's anything glaring. And like I said, I only give Dark Knight like a 9.8. Though I don't normally do decimals.
Only.
But I take off 0.2 of a point for Margaret Gyllenhaal. No, absolutely not.
Oh, poor Margaret Gyllenhaal.
She's the female Matt Damon.
Bingo! Oh! I would have given this a 10, but I got to dock points for weird voice guy at the beginning, giving a mission that's way too long and complicated. And I got to dock points just a little bit for the break in the formula. I realize that formula is not always good. But in these movies, it's like my comfort. You know what I mean? I need to open the new Harry Potter novel, have him at home, going through some struggles, then going off to school. You know what I mean? Like, I need the pattern in there. So I'm going to go with an 8.8 with an additional 0.1 for a lack of you-know-who. That's right. At this point, we don't even need to say his name. You know who we're talking about. So friend of Ben Affleck.
8.9 then, right?
8.9 final score. So
wow. No, if you watched it again and you like it more, would you bump it to 9 maybe?
I might. Like I say, I probably will. And this isn't true of every movie that we've gone and see. Like, I have not watched Ragnarok again, for instance. I probably will rewatch this when it comes out.
Yeah.
On video.
I want to watch it with my wife. We were planning to see it together, and then we did not.
Yeah. Well, even though our third wheel isn't here, we love you, man. I'm just joking. We wanted to keep the flame alive with his awesome Street Cred Corner. Street Cred Corner.
Street Cred Corner.
You win or you die.
We got to have a jingle for that. We need to come up with a jingle.
We need to get like a musical, get one of those barbershop quartets to. We don't have the budget for that. Give us money. The budget for that. Okay. So, I only have one question for you. I don't necessarily want to drag this out.
Yeah.
I know you fancy yourself.
I have one question for you as well.
Okay. All right. I know you fancy yourself some kind of Marvel know-it-all.
I do, though I feel like I've been failing any quizzes I've been given. I don't remember the first one. Maybe I got a question the first one right. I don't know. Anyway, ask me your questions, Bridgekeeper.
All right. And, if this one's too easy, give a little bit of a pause so that the people that are commuting on their way to work or they get the earbuds in while they're working out can try to answer it for themselves as well. Because I am a fair weather fan. I showed up for the movies. I wasn't really a comic book in terms of Marvel. And I don't know if I would have been able to get through this. So, here's the question. Everybody get ready. In the Marvel Universe, what does SHIELD stand for?
Strategic Homeland Intervention. What's the E stand for? And something law. And we got him. Got him, guys. Strategic Homeland Intervention, something law department. What's the E again?
Giving up? Caving in? I hope they remember you.
Hold on. Intervention and enforcement of law department, something like that. Okay, go ahead.
Close. Fell apart there at the end.
Okay. Correct me.
Bonus
and I hang
points
my head
to
in
anyone
shame.
at home who got this immediately.
I'm sure there's people that got it.
Screaming at him right now.
I know.
It is the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
And logistics. That's right.
Wow, you guys really got to shorten that. Yes, we know.
Yeah. Logistics. In my head, I always think law enforcement, and I know that's not right, but I always go to it. Logistics division.
It was
division or department.
Division.
Okay.
It was an admirable try, sir.
Yeah.
You got further than I would have. That's what I say.
Well, thank you.
I can picture Coulson saying it. He says it more than once in the Iron Man movie. Yeah. I totally lied.
I'm sorry. Hopefully I haven't lost too much credibility. People are going to...
Street cred removed. We need a jingle at the end, too, for like a win-lose,
If I keep it's a good thing we're not charting it, because I would probably be down to the you don't even know Marvel comics level.
Yeah, so like a street cred revoked.
I should come up with a graph of and we'll start us off like 50 and see if we go up or down every week. Man, I have to do that. Put it on the
Point
website.
Balance for the
See where we are currently in our.
I like that.
Oh man, I'm supposed to check that out. Yeah. So should we have like a DC, Marvel, Star Wars, maybe something like that?
Yeah.
Other.
And somehow, it'd inevitably be associated with our individual scores.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There'd be like for each of us, each one of us.
And, if it makes the listeners feel better, you can keep tally at home and send us the fact that your score is higher than ours.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know if you're Googling or not, but hey.
We're on the honor system, everybody. Okay, well, I have one for you.
Oh, all right.
It's
time for me to.
So I know you fancy yourself a DC Comics aficionado.
A real brainiac, if you will. Oh!
Okay, so the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with them?
Lots of sepia tones.
Yeah, exactly.
Abrupt and short backstory introductions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There were 7 original members.
Oh, no.
Can you name them?
Batman.
Oh, in the perfect universe, yes.
You're going back to Golden Age.
So don't go back too far. If you go way back, it's the Justice Society. So when you think of the Justice
that's what
League,
you're scaring me. Okay,
yeah. If you
let me just go down through the members that I know, because all right. So you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yes,
right.
You're almost halfway there.
Thank you for your encouragement. You've got your Aquaman, your Aquaman. You have your Johns, aka the Martian Manhunter.
just missing.
And he is alternated occasionally
2.
with Cyborg. So I don't know if that is going to fit into
Cyborg
the
is newer.
that you're referencing.
So I don't know if you're
okay.
saying you think he's one of the original members, but
Well, I guess I'm saying, yeah. Really, what I'm doing here is a bunch of Hail Marys and hoping it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got 2 more.
You've got your Flash.
And
I believe, I've certainly read comics where they slummed it a little bit with Green Arrow.
So Green Arrow was added later. He's not one of the original founding members.
Who would have been our final founding member? It's probably somebody stupid obvious that I...
Do you want me to give you a slight hint?
Sure.
You remember your last guess?
My last guess of Green Arrow? Okay.
Super close.
Oh, really? Super close to Green Arrow? No. Oh, Hawkeye? No, that's Marvel.
I read somewhere the Hawkeye is a member of the Justice League and the
that you know what? After that, you just got to pull my street cred.
Yeah.
That is a moment, an unforgivable lapse right there.
Green Lantern.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
If I'd given you something to indicate the color, you would have got it. But yeah.
No, that is.
I realize we're all trying to forget about Green Lantern after the Ryan Reynolds movie. Even he's trying to forget about it.
No, but I'm pretty sure that isn't Green Lantern in the pileup on the Tower the Tower of Babel storyline on the cover, even I think, which I have here in this room. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's one of the ones that gets taken out. Well,
yeah, I don't remember if he is now, but yeah, Aquaman, Batman, Flash, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, Superman, and Wonder Woman are the original 7 founding members.
I think part of it is too, and I know this is going to sound like an excuse, but Green Lantern, Ryan Reynolds in my mind is part of the Marvel universe now.
Yeah.
Like he's totally,
and it makes it a little hard, right? Justice League took out Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern. So
yeah. Although I personally, in terms of the comics at least, I prefer Martian Manhunter being there instead of Cyborg.
Oh, I love Martian Manhunter. Yeah, I wish they had gone the Martian Manhunter route. Though I know for this, again, it's a contrivance, and I don't like it, right? Because for the purposes of the mother boxes, they had to have a techno dude, like an Iron Man type of person, come in to do whatever. But I'm like, just write a different problem so that you can have Martian Manhunter, because he's original and he's awesome.
Scott Snyder, man.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder. I only know how to destroy, not fix.
Zack Snyder, yeah. Have you heard? I was reading a thing. Jason Momoa claims the Snack Snyder version.
Oh, the Snack Snyder. Yeah.
Snack Snyder version.
My kids love that version.
Yeah, is better. Though, and another thing, Henry Cavill said he hasn't ever seen a Snack Snyder version. So, and I don't know that there is one to even put together. So I'm like, well, how is he claiming that it's better?
That's an interesting claim.
Kind of an interesting thing.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it would be awesome if they would release it. So many people want it. I get that it's political and weird and all that sort of thing, but still, it's just like, oh man.
I just don't know that they ever would. I mean, what are they going to gain from doing it? I don't know. If anybody's interested in this, I watched a YouTube video recently. You should YouTube. It's like why the DC movies why DC action scenes aren't good or something like that. And it talks about how like, dude, it's not. I mean, everybody on the team is just a puncher. I mean, there's no diversity of powers they're using, and those movies, they need some serious help. It doesn't matter. I mean, who's directing them, what cut you get, you're still going to get just everybody in the team is punching bad guys and not really delivering clever lines.
Well, based on the trailers we saw at Comic-Con, hopefully they're at least trying to turn the ship around.
With Shazam, yeah,
a little more humor. Like more humor in
even
Aquaman
had the most. Yeah. So hopefully they're maybe learning how to make these movies.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Appreciate you guys walking through this with us. Just us two without our third guy. And he will be back with us next week. And if you want to check us out online, you can find us at heroescapepod.com. And who knows, maybe we will put up that Street Cred display on there. I mean, I'm a little embarrassed about what it would show right now, but at some point we may do that. So.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
See you next week.